Toto Causing to say a few words to get us going.
Who give a chance to listen to what this idea is all about. To Dean Pulsiano Sabido, to my former professor, Dean Ernesto Pineda, to Commissioner Elio Millari, to our special guest from the United States of America, Attorney Marlo Camello, a practitioner there for at least 30 years, who has brought this idea to us. We, the Human ng Mamamayan Movement Incorporated, as one of the lead organizers of this event, together with the Cataluña Causing Incorporated, the Worldwide Filipino Alliance, the Overseas Filipino Council International, the Compassionate Values for Accountability and Transparency, and all other private persons who volunteered their time, effort, and money for the realization of this event, which is so special to us. We welcome you all for this occasion. Before giving you the meat or the substance of this event, I want to give you the words I give. To think, once again, if the power to interpret or judge, and the power to implement the laws. We see our people electing or exercising directly the power to implement laws, or the executive power by electing the president and the vice president. We see the people directly exercising their power to make laws, or indirectly, as they call it, by electing our congressmen and senators. Have you seen people, the Filipino people, I rather say, exercising that power to judge? Have we elected at one point in our history any judge or justice as in other jurisdictions, particularly in some states in the United States of America? We haven't. Since 1901, when the system of criminal justice that existed with the pair of fiscal and judge, or prosecutor and judge, or in the modern times, the ombudsman and the judge, either in the persons of Sandigan Bayan justices or the regional trial court judges. During those times, I have read the report of former U.S. President William Howard Taft about what he did in the Philippines as the first civil Governor General, and he reported in one line that he cannot yet apply the jury system in the Philippines because he believed that the Filipinos, sadly to say, ignorant. Can that premise be the same now? The level of literacy of the Filipinos now is almost 95%. although it does not necessarily follow, but it is always as it is, that one who is educated has a higher degree to know what is happening in his environment, to distinguish between what is wrong and what is right, and to know, listening to a person, if that person testifying is telling the truth or not. Is that a hard task to act? You need not be a lawyer to understand whether a witness is telling the truth or not. You just observe how the witness testified. So many arguments, so many obstacles along the way while I was talking about this idea are telling me I am not a lawyer. Leave that to the lawyers or leave that to the judges. The act of determining which proposition is true and which is right. When the United States founded this system of justice 240 years ago, can you say that those Americans during this period are more intelligent than the Filipinos of today? That we cannot be prepared to face this task? In the United Kingdom, what is now Great Britain in old times, when the nobles, the barons, rebelled against the king, then bad King John. And when they won, they did not ask for the throne. They only asked the king to sign the Magna Carta. And this happened on June 15, 1215. And one of the basic rights that was demanded by the rebels then was the basic right of the people to demand to be tried only by their peers. They so demanded because they were so tired of the repeated incidents wherein the king was the one who accused and the king was the one who was making judgment, paving the way for him to kill all the enemies that he wanted. Because of the atrocities and the cruelty or the degree of brutality of this king, there came the story. There was born the story, which you now know as the Robin Hood. It was the mother of telling by the people then, of expressing their dissent against the king. If they were fearful of the king that they cannot attack him frontally, they just did it by means of dramas on the streets or elsewhere, staging the story about Robin Hood stealing money to give it to the people. So, if this justice system existed in the United Kingdom for so many hundreds of years, and since that time there was no more wars for the throne, and if it proves, as history shows, to be successful in the United States when it was founded at a time when discrimination was at the highest, can we do it now here when our color is only one, brown? Do not tell me that you are only a high school graduate, that you do not know how to determine who among the persons pronouncing anything in front of you are telling the truth and who are not. Meaning to say, I am pressing this idea because this is doable for us to do. Just imagine, how many years have you been under this system? This kind of system has bred so many tyrants, so many lords, and the last of those lords are yet to be arraigned. When we speak of arraignment, it is a matter of reading the charges against the accused, and that is being indispensable. Why? Because you cannot deprive the person of his liberty without due process of law. And that act of complying with the due process of law is to inform him of the nature and cause of accusation against him. Sad to say, only ang Patuan Junior has been arraigned until today. Look at the procedures in all our courts, in all our country. You can see there that an ordinary accused, even how much he tries in front of the judges, he cannot beg for a time to suspend the arraignment. After 60 days, if you have filed a petition for review before the Department of Justice, no way, gentlemen, the accusation must be read unto you. That is how our justice system works. If the accused is an ordinary individual, even if you have lawyers, but if you are an Patuan, how many days? 521 days up to now, from the time of the happening of the massacre of 58 persons on November 23, 2009, in the town of Patuan, province of Maguindanao. My God, you can just see how our justice system, how it works. Some say that it is not in the system, but it is in the people in the system. I say to them, if we have this kind of people who do not change, will you still remain in your theory or premise that it is not in the system? I say, we have to build a new system, a system that can compel compliance for everybody to become a person who acts with good manners and right and tact. If they say that the system of justice is expensive, just because you imagine you will be employing at least 12 persons during the trial period.
Parang by delegation.
Guys, the average trial days in the United States run from 3 days to 1 week. In the complicated cases, it may run months, 2 months, 3 months, up to 6 months. But that is negligible in number. And what is the net effect? The net effect is it will develop fear in the minds of criminals that they would now not risk trial. Like our Congressman, Ronald Alcenso. He pleaded guilty because in Hong Kong, the system there is jury system. Because if you will risk and you plead not guilty, and if you will be tried by the jury, the maximum punishment will be unto you. What I'm telling here is, in the long run, we will save on cost. Cost-wise, our judiciary today is spending at least 27 billion pesos a year for all the courts, for all its personnel, for all its judges, for all its justices. I have computed how much expenses do we need to undergo for a year, assuming that for every case the accused pleads not guilty. The cost is only 50 billion pesos. Now, look at our national budget. Now it is 1.6 trillion pesos. The reports of reputable agencies, how much money from this national budget go to the pockets? 15% up to 13%. What is 30% of 1.6 trillion? That is 450 billion pesos. If we will spend 50 billion pesos for the operations of the jury, how much can we save? If the operation, assuming it will result in at least 50% reduction in corruption. Just imagine if the ombudsman is peopled by a jury of the jurors, a group of 25 or 23 people, that is the equivalent of the grand jury in the United States. What do you think would happen? Would still there be big fishes who would enjoy the luxury of time waiting for the charges to be filed against him after 5 years, and when it was filed, then I would invoke my right to speedy trial has been violated, therefore this case must be dismissed. As what happened to our former Justice Secretary Berteni Perez. Anyway, the bottom line here is, it is now time for we, the people, to take that power back. Welcome to the jury convention.